Hi, how are you? Welcome to Unboxed and Fearless with Dr. Natasha. How are you doing today, Dr. Adama?
I am doing so well. It is Friday, and this is an amazing way to kick off the weekend. So I am so happy to be here with you and your audience. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are having some times. We obviously already know each other. It's been a pleasure to know you. You're doing some amazing things. And obviously, it really touched my heart. And I thought it was imperative that we sit down for a discussion because, yeah, you can post things to social media and you can send people a text message and email, but it's nothing like hearing the compassion behind the voice, right?
Absolutely.
In a
Absolutely.
conversation so people can hear all of the things, the wonderful things you're doing. So I am going to start by introducing you with your bio. And Dr. Adama Kalokoh is a distinguished global humanitarian and a proud descendant of Sierra Leone. She is a former active duty member of the United States Air Force, where she honorably served for 4 years. Born to parents who instilled in her a deep sense of pride and appreciation for her Afro-American heritage, she vowed to maintain a steadfast commitment to service and a mission to inspire other descendants of Africa to embrace their culture and positively impact their home countries. As a result, Dr. Kalokoh has become a beacon of hope and change in numerous fields. Dr. Adama is the CEO and founder of Impact Sierra Leone, which we call ISL, a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to mitigate social economic challenges in Sierra Leone by fostering empowerment, enhancing educational opportunities, and forging robust partnerships with the diaspora community. ISL is leading a construction effort to build a vocational skills training center in a rural community within Sierra Leone. Applause, applause. That was so powerful, and I am so proud of you. And this beautiful outfit you're wearing, this dress, can you tell me a little bit about it before we get into the interview?
Oh, yeah. So I am wearing an authentic dress designed in Sierra Leone, West Africa. Every time I go to Sierra Leone, I must get something to bring back to wear to represent the culture. So this was made by a designer, and actually her name is also Adama. And she has a little fashion house. So I always try to make sure I support the small businesses. So this is a nice fabric, kind of like that represents the colors. Sierra Leone and most of Africa, it's all about the colors.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so welcome to Unboxed and Fearless, where we celebrate those who are breaking barriers, leading with purpose. I'm your host, Dr. Natasha Weems, and today I am honored to speak with a phenomenal humanitarian leader, Dr. Adama. So we're going to get right into this because I am so excited to share with the world and my community what you are doing. But first, let's take a walk through your eyes. What does it mean to you on this journey and cultural level? What
Well,
inspired you to launch?
yeah, so I have a lot of whys, that's like, what is the why behind what you do? So I do feel that you being born into a family that has roots in Africa, it really does make a difference. And I believe how your future, what you're going to do, the legacy that you're building. And so I always say I'm a proud descendant of Sierra Leone. I believe that my purpose was determined long ago, even though before I knew it. So for me, my mom and dad, they migrated here from Sierra Leone, West Africa, both born in the village in the rural parts of Sierra Leone, and had all of us, my siblings and I, we were all born in Washington, D.C. So we are natives of Washington, D.C., but my parents are from Sierra Leone, and they made sure that culture was not forgotten. So our household, even though we were in the U.S., we thought we were kids that were American. My parents made sure that we knew that we came from somewhere. And so I do believe that knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, it really does impact your journey. And if you hear a lot of what I say, I always say the journey of impact, because it has been a journey, starting out as someone who thought she was American and realizing as I grew up and I matured that I am African. I have roots in me for a purpose, for a reason. There's a reason why I was born here in the States to parents who are from Africa. And so that journey still lives with me. And it is something that fuels everything that I do, everything that I say, the voice that I have. It represents many cultures. And so I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted that I am a descendant. I am a first generation born. It's something that I ran away from. And we can talk more about that. And, it's something that I was embarrassed about, but I can tell you now that when the light went off and I realized this is part of my purpose, this is part of my God-given destiny, it really did make a difference in everything that I did from there. So I'm a proud, I can say that now, I am proudly connected to Sierra Leone, West Africa through my parents, and now, doing my best to give back.
Oh, thank you for that. So what is the problem you're actually trying to solve? And can you introduce to us the village that you actually adopted?
Yes. So when I visited Sierra Leone the first time in 2003, I thought I was just discovering my roots and just, discovering who I was. But I realized it was so much more to that. And so not only did I discover, my roots and my family, I did discover my purpose. And through opening my eyes, seeing the present need, people not having access to just basic stuff, access to light, access to running water, clean drinking water, access to just basic things that we take for granted. And Sierra Leone is one country that did face conflict, civil war starting in 1999. And I believe since that time, the country really has not had its footing to restore back to what it was, to restore back to their strength. And so the lack of resources was something I've always had in my mind that I want to help close that gap. I want to help transform. And that really is the problem that I saw, was just not even being able to have good education for the children. And, over the years, I started out just with, helping with clothes drives, helping with shoes, the obvious. And I wanted to do more. I wanted to actually be involved with a community. I didn't want to just be visiting communities and then going from here. I wanted to really build with the community. And I really felt that being in the military, it teaches you how to be a team. It teaches you how to work together. And I realized that, if I'm going to really make change, I need to adopt a community. I need to be able to see the results. And so I was led, actually, using my voice and continuing to do the work. It fell on ears that took notice of my work and what I was doing. And so if you're out here listening to this message, networking is powerful. So please don't always know that the why and the answer will not always be there, immediately, but just keep doing what you're doing. And so eventually I was led to a community in Sierra Leone that was in dire need. Let me first say that I always wanted to start in a village because, like I said, my mom and dad are born in a village, and that hit home. And so knowing about the northern part of Sierra Leone, that hit home for me because, again, that's where my mom and dad are from. And my dad actually was more of a driving force because he loved Sierra Leone. He always used to talk about it. And he passed away in 1997. And I feel like that was the opening door for me and my siblings to say, oh my gosh, how do we heal from this? How do we move on? Because this guy, having 4 girls, we were all daddy's girls. So, he really was my motivation to go back to the rural parts. And of course, the city and everywhere else in Sierra Leone, everyone has their issues. But I decided to honor him and to feel that closure, that healing. I went to the village, and then I was led to a farming community because, again, going back to my roots, my mom and dad grew up in the farm. And so I know about the agriculture. I know about, growing things. And so I was led to a farming community. So it's all of these things that led me to a community called Foindu Village. And everything that was in me, carrying my dad's legacy, carrying the torch from my mom, it was a blessing. It was a blessing. And it's a remote village, and it's in the northern part of Sierra Leone in a community area that is known as Mile 91. And so the township is called Yonibana So that's a little bit of a historical context, but that is really how I was led to this village, the farming community. And like I said, this area, the village areas, the rural parts of Sierra Leone were hit the hardest from war. Um, Schools were burned down, clinics, anything that had supplies were burned and vandalized, and really did not have the hope to really repair and rebuild. And so that's really where Impact Sierra Leone stepped in to just be a part of the rebuilding and transformation of communities that really were in need.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. And so I know that your father is proud of you, just
Yes,
looking down and you just like continuing that legacy of
yes,
how you're caring for your people, you know, your family, and just made that commitment. I love to
yes.
hear about it and can't wait to see it in real time. But
Oh, yeah.
tell me what, so you have a program, The Seed of Life. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how that came to fruition?
Yes. So, as I said, we met this community in, I want to say, I visited Sierra Leone at the end of the 2020. That was a year of COVID. And I will also say that that was a year, a life-changing year for me as well, because I lost my younger brother, who was the only son of my dad. And so that kind of was like a driving force too, to just, do something, turn my pain into my purpose. And so in December 2020, I visited this village. And then 2021, we continued our work. We were helping them with their farming. We were helping them with just school supplies. But I became a global goodwill ambassador, and that actually helped me realize that to do great work, you want it to be sustainable. You want it to last. You don't want to just drop water today and they don't have anything to drink tomorrow. Maybe teach them how to purify their water, And so in doing that, I realized I needed some kind of a program, something to guide me. And the Sustainable Development Goals that was under the United Nations was really the kind of that toolbox, part of my toolkit to help us. How do we really do it better? How do we be more efficient? How do we make these efforts last? And that actually led me, in my head, I was thinking, planting seeds is something about the seed when you put it in the ground and it grows after it gets the right sun, the right nurturing environment. It's something that always fascinated me, that a seed can turn into something greater. And that's what the thought came up. I want to plant seeds. I want to plant seeds that will grow into a harvest. I want the community that when we go into that community, I want to leave them better than we started. And we can go into other communities and it can just be this domino effect. And so we created the Seeds of Life program. It started out with us supporting the children. We realized that the children in Foindu Village did not have a school feeding program, where in the U.S., I was always, we always had breakfast and lunch, if anything, the basics, even snacks. And even if you didn't have money, you had free lunch. And that's something I always knew when I was going to school. But I never knew that in other parts of the world, that's not the case. That kids literally go to school with no food in their bodies. And as someone who studied public health in college, I know that you don't eat. If you're hungry, it is hard to focus. It is hard to learn. It is hard to even just, function. And so, I realized that public health needed to be a part of our mission, and the Seeds of Life was that vehicle to help us start step by step. And so the Seeds of Life also gave an opportunity for us to kind of have that open door for partnership, because we were coming across people that say, hey, I'm a nurse. And of course, I'm doing farming, and said, well, I'd love to do something. And so I said, I need to have some more avenues for people who are from the different fields of study that can still be a part of our mission. So we decided to create different seeds. And so we have the Seeds of Wellness, whereby we have the focus on, the food, the nutrition, the clinic, the medical components, because a healthy community is a thriving community. And so we expose. We also have the seed of education. These women farmers, these farmers have children, and the school there is in poor condition. So there's no way we could help with farming, and the kids' education was not addressed. The seed of gender equality, which is something that I stand really passionate about as a woman born in the States. I realize there's so many women who don't have that opportunity to have their voice amplified because of the gender inequalities. And so that had to be a part of our area. And so if you go onto our website, you'll see that there are seeds that are outlined in various areas, and it actually just helps organize our work better. Because if you're not organized, you're just doing things. And I am a big person about milestones and measurements and success. And also making sure that the community that we work with, they feel like they are a part of that. And so this is this, I believe that we call it our anchor program. It really is the umbrella for Impact Sierra Leone. And it I believe has transformed the way we do our work. And I'm really, really proud. It's come a long way. But I believe that, it's a program that can be replicated. And we also hope that because we have people that even in the U.S. say we need seeds of life here, and it's an honor to hear that. And so that's something that I hope that we could do down the road, is to kind of model this in other communities and other countries, and even right here in the U.S. as well.
So that's amazing. And as you tell me this story, because I believe that this village is in need of quality experiences. So that consistent support. And many times in some of these communities, they feel that people are just arriving for the excitement for the moment and not really is building or establishing anything that's going to cause like a longevity and a continued relationship. Tell me about how the people within the community feel about that, and were they kind of reluctant? How did that relationship build and grow?
Yeah, so I would say relationship building is the most important thing in working with communities that are in underserved areas, because they are aware. There are people, unfortunately, that do exploit communities. They go into communities, they take pictures, and then they profit over it. And I was very, I made that commitment to myself to really live up to our name, Impact. I did not want to just be a one-stop community organization that came and went. I really did want the value add. I wanted us to, like I said, I wanted that village. I want them to be better when we start with them than when we last. And so building a community relationship meant we had to build a rapport. We had to build a trust. And that also, it begins with the stakeholders. These are like the chiefs, the elders of the village. They always are the ones that if there's anything going on in their community development, they need to be respected. They need to be addressed. You have to meet them. You have to come to them. You need to communicate and make sure that they are a part and aware of everything that you do. And so Impact Sierra Leone, we started out, like I said, we worked with the school, and then we realized this is a community approach. And that actually led us to start doing these yearly Christmas events, because we realized they don't do festivity. They didn't have anything that celebrate the festive occasion. And that was actually very important to them. And so, like I said, I wanted to not go in there and decide, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to just have some, workshops, and we're going to have, we're going to drop some water. And at the end of the day, it's good to give, but it's even better when you are with the community and you also listen to what they want to see in their community. And so I had my team. Having a team on ground helps because I am here. I'm all the way miles away from Sierra Leone, but I had to develop a team of volunteers, and that actually shared our mission and actually had that community at heart. And so I have volunteers. I have a country director, and over the years, they are family. And so when I go into the village, just to kind of give you a paint a picture now, we started with them 2021. It's 2025, so it's been over 3 years. We started doing the Christmas events where we were having food for like 500 people, food and drinks. We did, we do everything from like having spelling bees, dance contests. We hire a DJ. We let them have a day of hope. We let them have a day where they forget all the stress and struggles, and they come, other villages come from other areas. And one thing that a lot of them say is that, before you came, we didn't have anything. There was nothing here. Now we can boast. And then I never forget, one woman came to me in her own way. She took my hand, and, they all call me mama. They call me mommy, when they see me, they say, because, in Creole, they say, now you get we, they forget we. And so for me, I hold those words dear to heart. I don't take it for granted that people on the other side of the world are looking to me as their mom, as their protector, as someone who does not forget. And something about not being forgotten, that feeling that you have been forgotten, it is something that I think is a mental depression where you feel like no one even remembers you. And so I do everything to make sure I know their name. I am a big person on words. There's power in words. And this community, for the most part, majority are not literate in the sense where not reading and writing. And so I made sure that my team and we design and develop posters. I always say wellness posters, empowerment posters. Empowerment is everything we do. If we don't empower, I feel like we're not doing what we need to do, because if you don't change the mind of a person, they won't feel like they want to even be a part of the change. And so over the years, in engaging with them, doing the different workshops, we have so many outreach events that we've celebrated with them. This has made them realize this Impact Sierra Leone is really
here to stay.
Yes, they're here to stay. And so they always, anytime we have an event, they always make sure they say, Impact Sierra Leone, any development that you want to do here, people come and try to come in, because the land is for they said, but we don't listen to anybody, because you're the only organization that has come to support us with school supplies, with health and wellness, and everywhere. And so I think that it takes that relationship of them seeing that we're not going anywhere, and being able to do the things where just the t-shirts, just that love. It's something that they really count. And one of the most important things, like I said, I met them where they are. They are farming communities. So our volunteers usually go there every month, and we help them with the brushing, we help them with the clearing, and we help them plant crops. And then we help them harvest crops. And so we're there when they plant, we're there when they harvest. We tell the story on Impact and on social media. And so I think that the ongoing activities that we do makes a difference. And so it's not just the annual event. It's actually every month they see Impact Sierra Leone. We have a WhatsApp group. And I just want to say that it's so important to communicate. I created a WhatsApp channel. I greet them. And I think them feeling like, this woman is greeting me from the U.S., it does something to them. And so some of them never used to speak, never used to have a reason to smile. And now when I go, it's a whole different feeling. The women who were very quiet this time around in February, and I went, they had a song that they all came up with, and they all dressed in I Shall Be fabric, meaning that they all had a similar fabric just for my visit. And I tell you, for me, I'm like, wow, we have come a long way from them not knowing about me to now everyone, from the little babies, who is this? Dr. Adama Kalokoh, because it just being that I invested in making sure that we are with them and they know that we're with them. So it's still going, but we hope that tomorrow when we are ready to go to another village and they have that structure, the Impact Vocational Center, they have the school, they can boast. They can feel like, you know what, this organization has really come to impact and change and transform lives.
All right. That is amazing. I love to just like visually play that out in my mind as you're conveying what that must feel like and the connection and the uplifting of this community. But let's shift gears to another powerful part of this conversation. Can you tell us about your partnerships? Because I know it's really important to establish some strong partnerships with like-minded people to help
Yeah.
expand and grow your reach.
Yes. So we have been honored to connect with so many people that share our vision and really see how they can be a good fit. And so for Impact Sierra Leone in general, we have a partnership with an organization that provides fruits and vegetables for the children every month. It's the Family Agriculture Resource Management Services, better known as FARMS. We've been partners with them since 2021, and that has helped boost the healthy state of the children. Reducing a lot of these different ailments like diarrhea. So they get fruits and vegetables every month through that partnership. We also have a partnership with a wellness organization. Wellness is a huge part of Impact Sierra Leone. Dr. Ian, he supports us every month, and before Seeds of Life, before Impact Sierra Leone was started, I always give him his dues. He told me, I believe in you and I'm going to do everything I can to support you. And so I always make sure that I, give him that honor, because before I thought Impact Sierra Leone would be around, Dr. Ian Levine is a Levine consultant. He's a great partner who has always just been there supportive. And now we have our two newest partners who we're very, very excited about. We are partners with the Strategic Collaboration Network, also known as SCN, led by, oh my gosh, Catherine Trotter. Had a brain blank. Catherine, I met her in 2019. So she always tells me that she recognized Impact Sierra Leone because of our consistency in spreading the message and just telling the story. There's something about telling the story and people seeing your journey and it growing. And Catherine Trotter has been an amazing partner, putting me on platforms and connecting me with great people. She makes sure that my voice is heard, and it's not every day you get that. You don't get the opportunity to share your story and get it out there to the masses. And the story is not as powerful if people don't hear it. And so Strategic Collaboration Network has joined us officially to partner with our vocational training project, and would love and is planning to go to Sierra Leone on our Threads of Impact mission trip. And Catherine Trotter and SEN led me to an even greater partnership with none other than the Pearl Health Foundation, led by your beautiful self, Dr. Natasha Weems. And like I said, connections matter. And her platform led me to, share my story, share our journey, and all the things that we're doing and what we hope to do. And we were grateful to meet you, Dr. Natasha. So these partnerships, I believe they all share that goal of, really trying to help not only Impact Sierra Leone rise, but our communities rise, so that they can just be better, they can live longer, they can live better lives. And so I always say these are partnerships of purpose, because there's a purpose to everything that we're doing. And so we are very excited about our partnerships and the hope that they will be coming to the soil of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and our purpose will be, met in a greater way. And we have room for more partnerships.
So that was amazing because Catherine did connect us. And one thing about her is she's so intentional about pouring into women and entrepreneurs in general, men, women. I've seen her in real time, and her tour that she has and her platform, welcoming other entrepreneurs to have more visibility and a way to discuss their businesses and also network and be intentional. And she's the one that actually helped me build my 501c3. So if there's anyone out there, we can also leave Catherine's information if you're wanting to build your own 501c3 so you can have a more structured way of providing support. So like she said, she was pretty much introducing our partnership. So Pearl Hill Foundation, which is led by myself, I have some amazing people that support, but we are excited to provide change that will be sustainable and also recognize some of the chronic conditions and needs within the community and village. If you want to speak about some of our initial impact that we've done and how that helped the community and what was their response when Pearl Health Foundation sent their donations over.
Oh, yes. So as I said, I'm the voice that I try to stand in the gap for those who are not able to speak. But Pearl Health Foundation was a blessing. Like I said, I traveled in February, last month. I was there for our post-Christmas Day of Hope. And our partnership, our introduction came right on time because immediately Pearl Health Foundation went into action mode when I expressed that there is a clinic at Pointy Village and they serve 14 other villages and they are always in need of just resources so that they can really offer quality health care. And they don't get support from the government. And so when I, put myself in we were like, I think within like that last week, we were hustling because Pearl Health went immediately to say, what are the needs? So just being able to get things like the, blood pressure cup, just being able to check people's blood pressure and a heart monitor. And, it's a maternal clinic also. So, the gloves and, what is it? It's so many things.
Medical supplies.
A lot of medical supplies.
They had a wish list.
Before I left, I wasn't able to get everything in my suitcase, but I made sure that when I went, like about the journey, I made sure that they know that there are some people in the U.S. that are here to help, that want to help, that see you. And I made sure that we shared. I wanted you to see their faces, and I wanted to make sure that when I say the journey of impact, I take you to Sierra Leone, even though you weren't physically with me. And when I met the nurses, Nurse Angela and Nurse Georgina, they are hardworking nurses. They are not even residents of Pointu, but they're there during the week, and they go through a lot just to travel there, and they see so many patients. And so, when I told them that, about Pearl Health, and I asked them, I said, would you mind doing a video? Oh, they were excited. They were like, well, we have another sister, we have another mother there in the U.S., and they were just pouring blessings over Pearl Health. So I just want to make sure that they are super appreciative. Like, I have a chat with the nurses as well, and they're always just asking, how is Dr. Natasha? And they're ready and willing. I told them of the thought of a health fair coming, and they said that's never happened. And they have so many undiagnosed cases in Sierra Leone. So that is a need. That's a gap that would be filled in a great way. And so being able to ship the supplies, there's a lot of supplies that will soon be there in April. And they said they can't wait to do another thank you directly to the Pearl Health Foundation, just to show their appreciation. One thing about that community that always motivates me is they are super appreciative of everything. And they always make sure that they put the stuff out and take pictures, because they just want people to know that they are standing in gratitude for every donation that comes their way. And so that when those items come, they're going to be put to use immediately. The cleaning items, there's so many things that make a clinic efficient, and unfortunately they have a lack of those items. But I do always pride them. I said, even though y'all don't have, y'all make sure y'all give what y'all can, because I see it in their attitude. And so for that, I believe that when I say attitude is gratitude, attitude is everything. That's why I'm so motivated and pushing to make sure they get what they need. So again, on behalf of the Pointy Village Health Clinic and all the community members there, I continue to say thank you to Dr. Natasha for, tying up your boots right away. It was no hesitation. And you really did, jump in at the time that they need. And so I'm really grateful for that.
So one of the things that during our initial meeting that I noticed about you was the authenticity. So it's always important when people are putting their resources. Obviously, time is very valuable, but you definitely want to make sure it's with an organization that's doing the right thing with the resources. And it was very obvious to see based on your consistency, how many years you've been in place, your actual personal ties with the community, and the relationships you've developed. It was very
Mm.
clear to me, very obvious to me that you are vested and that this is the right organization to support, because we know that all resources are going within the community. And in addition to that, they have no problem with showing how these supplies and how this is being utilized within your clinic.
Mm.
So Pearl Health Foundation is really committed to supporting and empowering the healthcare infrastructure in this
Yeah.
village, but also it's important to know that what we're trying to do is enhance education and help enhance overall health and wellness. And
Yeah.
obviously, they're servicing so many different villages. They have limited access to supplies. So it's important for us to also bring awareness that if there's organizations that are willing to support and provide testing, there's point of care testing like HIV, hepatitis C, there's
Yeah.
machines that can give lipid profiles, A1Cs for diabetes, and that
Stress.
can allow
Sugar.
us to recognize the current health status of people within the community. And that's what we call providing healthcare screening. And then at that point, we can also provide resources and education and prevention. And just like you said, public health is really important in these communities. So what I will have you do is also speak more about like their wish list, and then in
Yeah.
general what your goal is in terms of like sponsorship support, because collectively we need to build, we need to be able to expand and be more powerful in how we're able to distribute support for the medical side of it and the clinic there. So I am asking for my healthcare community, my nurses, nursing assistants, physicians, because I do have a lot of people in my community that are in the healthcare. If you have any knowledge or any organizations that you think would want to pull behind us or aside us and just support and want to donate medical supplies, etc., education, your
Mhm.
time, join us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Please let us know additional information, and then Dr. Adama can also speak about financial support for the building phases of the
Yeah.
vocational center, which is amazing. So can you tell them
Mhm.
more about what that looks like in terms of your fundraising goal and how they can actually provide donations?
Yes. So you definitely mentioned, not only are we trying to address the wellness, but the education. And in order for us to really be as effective as we could be, and also creating opportunities for more virtual support and support across the diaspora, we feel like there's a lack of infrastructure, and that they needed some place that they could be able to go to, as a safe haven, as a way to learn skills. And that's something that we recognized when I would do these different activities and outreach. I felt like there's so much more than we can do with the individual if they are able to learn skills, if they're able to learn how to do things. And the community that I work with, it's a farming community. So all they know is farming. All they do is go to farm. And I spent some time with them at the farm, and it's a lot of hard work to go to the farm, to just do the different activities in farming. It's hard on the body, and that really is why they have so many health problems, because they don't have access to those you know prevention medicines. And so having to go through all that hard toil in the body, not eating well and not getting adequate nutrition, not getting sleep, the stress, you can just imagine the body, that typical capacity is limited. And so in thinking about that, I realized, we have to have a greater goal here, And so that's where I decided to ask the different the women. Let me tell you that the Seeds of Life opened the door for us to create a group just for the women. And when we had our second event, the women said they want to have their own farm group, some kind of organization, something to call their own. And so I would be remiss if I don't mention that we in 2022 created the Women's Agribusiness Collective, and it's 40 women that decided that they wanted to be a part of this group. We would provide resources for their farming, but we would start helping to help them learn skills. And so in 2023, I went during Women's History Month, and we had I call it sip and paint. I always like that kind of concept. So that was our first introduction to them learning a skill, and they all painted their first picture, and I provided lunch. And when I saw the outcome, I saw how they felt with them just going to the farm all day, but taking that and using a paintbrush, they were not even, they didn't even know how to hold the paintbrush. I went and was just like a kind of like we were helping them, but they felt like, oh my God, this is nice. We can do something different. And they got to create a picture, stand up, take a picture with me. And then that picture is in their home. And so what that is, again, that's a seed that we planted. And then from then I decided, wow, wouldn't it be nice if they had somewhere to go? And wouldn't it be nice if they actually, be able to be economically stronger, where they can be able to create stuff? There's no marketplace to get to basic things. They have to go and walk and go take transport to the nearest town. But having something right in the village, can you imagine what they can do to have their own? And something about having your own, And so I decided, you know what, let's see about what we can do more. And that's where the vocational training center, a skill center, came. I was kind of online looking at another organization that did something, and I just looked in the faces of the women that were creating. I think they were learning how to sew, and I said, "That's our women." I can see that. I can see that that would be the hope that they need. I can see that this could be a way that they can feed themselves without Dr. Adama over there. They could be like able to create their own. And so that became the beginning thought. It just turned into, this is what we're going to do. And we introduced it to the community. And so they are excited about the thought that they have somewhere to go to learn, that will have network, because in that community that there is no steady electricity. And so just imagine not having light, not having a way to power. I know for me, when my phone dies, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need my phone. I need to power on. But there's some people, the reality is they got to wait until they can maybe the next day go and charge. And so that was the thought of the Impact Vocational Training Center, where these women are going to go and be able to learn a skill. Learn how to make fabrics, like you see me, learn how to make a dress, learn how to make artwork. We're going to have people that's going to learn how to paint, learn how to cook. I mean, they know how to cook. Cooking is a huge part of the culture, but to be able to learn different techniques. And one thing that is most important about this is that we're going to put solar. Solar is going to be on the roof so that they can have the ongoing network, because we want to be able to connect with our community in a diaspora. We want people who, hey, I would love to teach women how to draw. I know how to make jewelry, and they can be able to connect with them and have a virtual learning experience. I do feel like that will be a game changer for how we grow in the communities in Sierra Leone, and that's what we want to be able to do in Impact Sierra Leone, to be able to be a game changer that will impact the future generations. And so the vocational training center is one aspect, as well as the school. The school there is in very poor shape. It actually, I try not to compare it like that, but it always reminds me like of a shack. There's no posters. If you go into the schools here, you have posters. You have things that remind you that you are in a learning institute. And unfortunately, this isn't a reality for the children. So that's why I always try to make sure that when I go, we give them some new books, a book bag, something that makes them feel like, hey, I am a child, I'm learning, and I'm capable. And so, but being able to go into an actual school and you feel that is where, we want to go. So these are our efforts for 2025 with focus on the Skills Training Center. We do feel that once we build that, they have somewhere to go. It will open the door to other opportunities. the culinary will be able to help us connect with our community here. Maybe you guys can learn recipes from Sierra Leone. We can learn how to make dishes in America. It'll just be that cultural exchange that a lot of, I think, communities or organizations lack. We want the culture exchange.
Awesome. So because I want to make sure you announce that you're doing a trip in December and give more information on what that looks like, the travel time, just generalized information.
Yes, so we hope that we want the ribbon cut this vocational training center December 2025. And so we're thinking about that December 12th. Well, I think I have some exact dates, but it's before Christmas. And so we have introduced that to some of the partners here, and there's been interest in going. And so we have decided to do the Threads of Impact humanitarian trip, whereby we would have our community members here travel with us through United Airlines to Sierra Leone, West Africa, and we would cut the ribbon to the vocational training center. The women, our partners will be right there when they go into their new building, and we would also still enjoy the annual Christmas Day of Hope. So it would be a service opportunity and also a chance to explore Sierra Leone in all its cultural benefits. And being that this will be my, I guess, 12th time, I've been grateful to develop a lot of relationships and build some ties with people that are in Sierra Leone that will make sure that trip is enjoyable and memorable for those who attend. So that is the goal, is the threads of impact, because we're all together, we're all connected, we're all weaving and creating and making something beautiful. And so that's something that we are actively trying to fundraise for, especially the building project. We are in phase one, and so that's active fundraising that we are inviting everyone to help us, so that we have something to build. I mean, we have something to go to that is built.
And also, I just want to highlight, one of my sisters, a really good friend of mine. She's a powerful woman. Her name is Queen Knack. She's an entertainer from Sierra Leone, and she's very obviously established and connected there with people that would be willing to support as well. So I can't wait to continue conversations with her to see what that looks like. And then obviously I'm a Dining Diva California cast member. And so that's been an amazing journey for me. But the Dining Divas is a platform that support women, entrepreneurs, and they just launched their program with connection to Africa. So Africa has well over 50 different countries, but they at least had maybe over 15 countries, representatives from those countries on a call back in February where they launched their program. And it's mostly like influential leaders within those countries to join forces together and, create impact and change. So I think Dining Divas should also know about this program and our efforts and what we're trying to establish here, and also get you connected with the platform so you can become even more powerful in your mission and gain more support, because you need it. You have a good heart. And when it's people in this world that are going above and beyond to do more outside of our own communities, outside of our own circumstances, to touch other people's lives on the other side of the globe, obviously you need support. You need people to rally behind you. And so we are calling for all of the supporters. You can hear the compassion in our voices. You hear her stories. I mean, she's painting such vivid memories that we can see how that could unfold and how the community would also love it. And also visit her nonprofit website, but also the Instagram and her YouTube. We'll post all of that in the caption, but it's so nice to see the children of the community. Some of these children have nothing. So just imagine the abundance that we have access to here in the United States. Although there are people within our locally that need access and support, but compared to what the need is there, it's night and day. So we have to put that in perspective, and we have to know that our purpose, our God-given purpose, is to provide change. That's why
Yeah.
we're here. We have to
Yes.
provide change. We have to utilize what he has instilled in us to
Yes.
spread and to touch lives. Just health
Yes.
education, just a visit, just the vocational skill can change generational outcomes for them. Not
Yes.
just a moment, but a movement. So this is
Yes.
important. And I am just calling out to people that are compassionate, just like us, to join us,
Yes.
support. Okay. So that was me saying we have such big hearts, and the people that want to get behind women that are change makers, that's what's
Yes.
needed.
Yes, I love that. And you said something very, very powerful. This is a movement, and I think it's a movement and it's a mission. And so those two words are what drive me not to give up or say I'm tired, because I mean I am a mother of two. My son is 17, my daughter is 12, and so the juggle, the life balance as a single parent is not easy. But like I said, when you have a movement in your heart, and you know what you were destined to be, your God-given role in this world, it does make a difference in how you think and how you go about how you're going to change the world. And I do feel like that's why I still have a smile on my face, and I still push, and I still continue on the journey. So I love that you said that, the movement, because this is a movement. Like I said, there's going to be people down years when we all are, in the paradise with God. There's going to be someone that still can benefit from the skill center. There's going to be one young girl that just all she knew is, I'm going to, have a piece of something, that something changed her village. That's legacy is what matters. And so I'm really, really grateful. I love meeting people, so I cannot wait to meet other amazing women. And happy Women's History Month. I've been celebrating the women and giving them their flowers, because we don't get flowers enough. I wanted to just really give you your flowers, because I see you in all the different arenas, and God is moving in your life. And I'm just grateful to connect with you, and that you just give me a chance on your platform, because you didn't have to do that. So I'm just grateful. This is a beautiful way to end Women's History Month, is
This
by
is
empowering one another and lifting each other. And that's one thing I'll end is, our motto is united we stand, together we rise. I don't say divided we fall. I don't look at the fall. I look at how we rise. And so we are rising just in this arena right now.
So I want to thank you for walking in your purpose and showing us what it means to lead with heart and intention. However, if you're comfortable, would you like to close out with a prayer for this mission
Oh,
and the village, and in
yes.
general? We need prayer in all that we do.
Yes, I would definitely do that. And let's go to the throne. God, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for another week that you have gotten us through. So many people are suffering on the left and the right, but we just want to come to you in a state of gratitude, because we know, God, that every waking day is a blessing, is a gift. We want to just open our mouths and petition to you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for each other. Thank you for Dr. Natasha. Thank you for Pearl Health Foundation. Father God, I pray a special blessing over them, that the doors will continue to open, and that people will continue to be inspired, impacted, and lives changed. Father God, I thank you for Impact Sierra Leone. I count it a blessing that you decided that you would allow me to lead and to help and to change lives. God, I'm grateful. God, as we celebrate Women's History Month, I pray that you look on us as your daughters to continue on what we're doing as best as we can, with the faith, God, that you will move the mountains that need to be moved. God, you will open the doors that need to be opened. God, you will really provide where we need provisions. God, I thank you for every audience member, every person that will listen to this podcast. I pray a special blessing over their lives. I pray that, God, everything that we do, God, may our labor not be in vain. May the work of our hands, God, change lives and be what is needed to change lives, to change the game, to make sure people don't go to bed hungry, to make sure kids can go to school and actually learn, to make sure there are women that can actually feel like they are somebody, that they are valuable. So, God, thank you for this time. Bless this podcast. Bless everyone again that will be in the midst of this production. And again, I just lift up what we're doing. The Vocational Training Center belongs to you. We pray, God, that it will be something that comes to fruition. And I'm just grateful. God, we stand in gratitude. I pray for all those who are suffering. There's so much going on in the world, but we know, God, that at the end of the day, you are still in control. Peace be still. Peace be still. I pray that as we depart in this prayer, that everything that we do, we remember that no matter what, it is well. It is well. It is well with our souls. Thank you for this time. Thank you for our voices. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable and pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I
Felt
always
like a
say
relief.
prayer. Prayer. Yes, yes. I miss my praise and worship when I was in Detroit. I miss that. So yes.
And
Thank
actually,
you. We're gonna
I'm familiar with Queen Mac because I've been invited to be a part of this international. Sierra Leone is about to celebrate International Day, so she's going
yes,
to be doing something. And so there's a community. There's a woman that they found me and they saw me doing so much, and they want
yes.
me to be a part of that. So that they shared her flyers. She's been
Yes, that's the person I told her all about you and the connection. So, yeah. So, I'll go ahead and start a thread for you guys. But you having a blessed, amazing
I
day.
and thank you for this time. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
Bye.